Good morning, everyone from Madrid. We're in front of Santiago Bernabeu. That is a little bit under construction, but that's the case right here. I have with me a big friend, Iñaki Angulo. He has a huge YouTube channel, I Am Madridista, and he's working for Bein Sports, so you can see him on TV as well. I'm gonna link his YouTube channel in the description below. Please follow. Iñaki, I know you're coming back from Mestalla. It was a busy weekend for you.
Yeah, busy weekend back of me and ahead of me because on Wednesday I'm going to El Clasico and on Sunday we have Athletic de Bilbao here in this building. First of all, thanks for having me on your channel. I'm very pleased to share my ideas, to chat about football with you.
Thank you so much for coming here. Well, let's start from the game that you were at. 1-1 in Mestalla in the last second of the game, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, the last play of the game, people was a little bit pissed off in Mestalla, and I can understand them because it's a blow when you lose in the final minute. But, I think it was a roller coaster game, a very nice first half for Real Madrid. I think they did a statement in the first, I'd say, 30 minutes of the game, because they played with a lot of personality, they played with heart, and they knew what they have to do to control the game. Maybe they weren't able to create clear chances. That's the thing Real Madrid needs to improve right now. Without Hazard, they have problems to have that final pass, that dribble, that smart play that is going to make the difference. But in terms of high pressure, in terms of recovering back the ball quickly and attacking again, in terms of being well placed on the pitch, I think it was perfect. And then the second half, I talked to Courtois after the game, and he admitted that Valencia took a little bit of control of the game. Real Madrid weren't able to possess the ball, and in those counter-attacks they scored, and they were close to close the game with a second goal. And then that final goal for Benzema, and that celebration from Valverde.
I know.
I'm sure
I've seen it. He has so much passion, and I want to talk about Valverde because for me he's the revelation of the season so far for Real Madrid. In the middle of the park, he brings balance to the midfield of Real Madrid. He's able to do a defensive role, as we saw last night. He basically covered for Casemiro. He could play in front with Modric or Kroos.
True.
Is he the person that was missing in the midfield maybe last season?
He's made a great impact in this Real Madrid team, and I think we need to credit Zidane first in the decision of having him in the squad. He sent on loan Ceballos to Arsenal. He sold Marcos Llorente, and this kid Federico Valverde, he has no name, he has no media around him creating big headlines of him, but his game is speaking for him. And I think that, as you said, he's able to pressure high, he drives the ball very well, and when he's near the box, he can score and he can give an assist. I think he's already scored 2 goals and provided 3 assists. That's money in the bank for Real Madrid, and I think that we are only seeing the surface of what this player is going to become. I think he has everything to have a long career here in Real Madrid. And yesterday he played as Casemiro, we could say. He didn't have that relationship with the finish of the play because he played not that close as always from the box. But still, I think he was okay. He didn't miss any passes at all yesterday, especially in the middle part of the pitch. He had 48 out of 50. It's very important not to lose key passes in that part of the field, and I think he understood his role yesterday, and I'm sure he's going to start in Barcelona. And I think that he should play a key role in Barcelona, especially if he's able to play in the back of Frenkie de Jong, Busquets, and Rakitic. I think that Real Sociedad, with Odegaard playing in that part of the pitch, destroyed Barcelona because the separation between the midfielders and the defensive line of Barcelona is great. And I think that Zidane is going to attack that. He's going to try 2 things, in my opinion. Attack that space, that big space Barcelona left, especially against Real Sociedad, and then trying to pressure high Barcelona. Let's see if they're able to keep it up for the entire game.
I'm going to stop you before we go to our Clasico. We have to discuss the rivals. Obviously, Barcelona with a 2-2 draw away at Real Sociedad. A Real Sociedad that maybe is the team that plays the best football this season outside of the top 3, let's say.
Yeah,
Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I think Real Sociedad, they have a very nice program up in the north. I think they've been making smart decisions for several years. I think that when you are able to put together players like Odegaard, like Oyarzabal, like Janusa coming off the bench, like Iyarramendi, like this new kid Guevara, you are going to control the games and you are going to be able to be very harmful in the offensive part of the game. And I think they did, and they know they know their game plan. They trust what they're doing under this manager Alguacil, who took over in a very complicated situation. He's turned around this football team, and yeah, I think they are going to be competing for playing in the next Champions League. And I think that they played the game they wanted against Barcelona, especially in the first half, and especially after they equalized in the second half with that goal from Isaac. I think that they attacked every weakness of this Football Club Barcelona team, but on the other hand, I think that Barcelona is the most powerful team offensively in the world. Not maybe because of the game, because of how the game develops, but the ability of Griezmann, Suarez, and Messi to score goals basically from nothing. I mean, if you go back to the last 3 road games of Barcelona, they won in Leganés doing basically nothing with 2 free set pieces. Then they won in Atletico with a great goal by Messi, and then they were on the verge of winning 3 straight games on the road, playing a very bad game in Real Sociedad.
And I would highlight Griezmann in this game. I think it was the first game that he kind of put a stamp on. He was really sharp the whole match. He scored against his former club, of course. And they're starting to develop that partnership finally, I think, between the front 3. I mean, it's not what we expected at the beginning of the season to start with a lot of goals from all 3 of them, because if we add up all the goals that they've scored in the last 3 years in Spain, it will be probably like over 200 or something.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think Griezmann's situation is a bit complicated because he's playing out of position. That's the first part. And then he's playing in a team that collectively is not playing at a high level. So it is not easy for Griezmann to adapt to this team. But in the end, he's already scored 6 goals, which is okay. I mean, he looks a little bit out of the game of Barcelona, but we don't know what Barcelona's game is right now. But again, he's a great finisher. He scored the first goal against Mallorca in a counter-attack, and he scored the equalizer against Real Sociedad in another counter-attack. I think he's a good finisher. Both were clinical finishes. And yeah, I mean, they are right now. I think they are a bunch of great individuals up front, but they're not playing as a team. But not only up front, it happens in the midfield. I think, for example, Frankie de Jong can't do everything. I mean, Busquets, for example, I think he's not aging well. I think especially in high-paced games, Barcelona is going to suffer because they have a bunch of very talented guys like Messi, of course, like Luis Suarez, like Rakitic, like De Jong or Rakitic, Busquets or Piqué. They're great players, but they are in their 30s and they can catch up with a high-paced game. So if Real Madrid with this midfield, especially if they play with 4 players, are able to increase the game pace, I think that they might take control of Barcelona, and they might put Barcelona on the brink of collapse.
That's another thing I want to ask you as a Spaniard. How do you see this whole thing that's surrounding El Clasico? Obviously, it was postponed already. There was talks last week that it might get postponed another time because of the conflict in Barcelona. How do you see this whole outside of football kind of political environment around the game?
I mean, I think the game is gonna be played this time.
Yeah.
But I think you said outside of football, but outside of football, it's not Barcelona in this kind of thing, because I think that Barcelona is the most politicized club in the world. I think they've taken part in this process, and they've allowed flags against Spain. You are an immigrant here, you can tell Spain is a democracy, I think. And I think they've attacked what this great country stands for in terms of liberty, in terms of speak what you want to say, in terms of freedom. And I think that Barcelona has been a part of that, because they have allowed big flags in the Camp Nou saying that Spain is not a democracy, for example, saying that there's no freedom in Spain. And I think that when you have been growing this monster for decades, you cannot surprise them when he might beat you.
Do you expect anything during the game to happen outside of obviously what's happening on the pitch?
I can't say. I mean, I think things are going to be in control inside the stadium. I think, for example, the press the stadium will be opened 8 hours before kickoff, and I hope the fans can go to watch a football match. The fans that only want to go to see a football match.
What's your prediction? I want a score prediction.
Okay. You asked me about goals, and I think that, against Barcelona, every team has had options of goals. If we go back, even in games that Barcelona has won and has won big, like Seville, for example, they beat 4-0 Seville, but within the first 30 minutes of the game, Luke de Jong had 3 clear chances on target. It happened with Inter de Milan in Barcelona. Inter scored first, and they could have closed the game in the first half. In Dortmund,
Villarreal, Mallorca,
Villarreal,
teams that always get goals.
Scored. Real Sociedad scored 2, but they had another 4 clear chances. So I'm sure that Real Madrid is going to have more chances than yesterday, for example. But they need to finish. They need to score, because if we go back to a lot of Clásicos, for example, last season, I remember when Barcelona beat Real Madrid 5-1 in late October. I think it was the last game of Lopetegui. Okay, it was 5-1. But in the during the second half, especially in the first 15 minutes, Real were able to score a goal, and they have a post, I think, and Benzema missed a clear headed on target. So even in games that Barcelona won big in El Clásico, like that 5-1, like the 3-0 here in the Bernabeu in the second leg of La Copa del Rey, Real's biggest problem is not capitalizing their great moments in El Clásico and their great chances. And I think that mentally is going to play a part. And of course, in terms of football, it's going to play a part. I think that Real Madrid is going to start fast. I think that they are going to try to score an early goal, because in the second half, the 21 hours less that they've had coming into this game might be a factor. So I expect a fast start for Real Madrid, pressuring high and trying to harm Barcelona.
All right, let's see what happens in El Clasico. Of course, the game that the whole world awaits. It had to be postponed once, but it seems like it's going to happen on Wednesday night.
Yeah. So, closing with the prediction.
I would say 2-2. I think there's going to be a lot of attacking play, because the same you said, the Barcelona allows goals. We can say that about Real Madrid. I know in the last maybe 2 months they've been really solid, but they haven't lost.
I mean, Barcelona scored goals, but Real Madrid is the second best team in conceding goals. Only 12 goals. But I'm going to go with 1-2.
1-2? Real Madrid win?
I don't know if it's my mind or my heart speaking, but yeah, 1-2.
Probably your heart, but
yeah.